Wow, haven't done one of these before. In front of me is a luxury wireless gaming headset for $450. What? While this here is another wireless gaming headset that is 10 times cheaper. Let that sink in. I have not heard of either of these brands, but Master and Dynamic live in the premium audio space, and this being their first gaming headset ever, I have my expectations fairly high, while the Benoon headset is kind of your generic, something cheap from Amazon, but with surprisingly good reviews. But let's be real, their Photoshop skills need a few more tutorials, please. Come on. Now the unboxing experience clearly is very different. The MG20 has everything compartmentalized, the quick start guide has its own pointless envelope with marketing to let you know this is a gaming headset made for gamers, and even a paper lip to help you remove the USB adapter. Honestly, this is exactly what I was kind of expecting for this price point, and it even comes with a carry pouch. Technically though, so does the cheap pair. Inside the bag you'll find all the same components and even a second phone piece. Wow, look at that value add for the microphone, although that's probably just a mistake. And despite the massive price difference, there are a few similarities. So both come with a USB dongle for PC, Mac, and PS5, both of which have a connection status LED. That's nice. Both charge with a USB-C port that is a pleasant surprise, especially on a cheaper headset. Both have Bluetooth 5.0 support for multi-device connectivity. Both pairs can be used in wired mode with the included 3.5mm cable, and each headset comes with a microphone cover. So it's pretty clear how this MG20 is just insanely overpriced, right? Wrong to an extent. Just like it was wrong for you to assume there won't be a message from our sponsor.
You want performance, but what about portability? Well, that's where the new Razer Blade 15 comes into the equation. It harnesses NVIDIA's latest GeForce RTX 30 series laptop GPUs, up to an RTX 3080, mind you. And with that kind of power, you can experience the best visuals and lowest latencies in gaming, thanks to ray tracing and all the hard work that the new RT cores, Tensor cores, and AI enhancements perform behind the scenes. Oh, and did I mention the beautiful and fast display flavors that Razer offers, ranging from Full HD 360Hz up to 4K OLED. And all of this hardware goodness is wrapped in an anodized matte black chassis, and with their new anti-smudge coating, it won't show fingerprints. Check out the new Razer Blade 15 down below.
Okay, so now we know how they are similar. Let's use their differences to assess value. First, there is no comparison between the build quality, comfort, and materials between the two. The MG20 is just on another level with the true kind of a luxury feel, although it's kind of odd to have this marketed towards the gaming space because its design, I mean, it is so lifestyle. When was the last time you saw lambskin for the ear pads? Or Alcantara headband with this cool canvas texture, magnesium ear cups, and aluminum controls? There's this also beautiful density when you expand the size extensions, and I love the white color, although even with very careful use because of this price point, you can see visible scratches and even places where there's like surface material is starting to peel. That's not a good sign. The BW02 is an all plastic build. I wouldn't stretch these too much. It does look like a standard gaming headset, but without looking stupid like the rest of the garbage on affordable section on Amazon. The tricky design element here is this red mesh inside the ear cups. This material is very harsh versus what it looks to appear to be very soft. I would rather my ears touch the interior plastic than this BS. Plus, all the renders show the smooth ear pads, while what we receive in the mail is totally different. But given the lightweight nature of each headset, they sit very well on my head with good clamping force. They are fine with glasses and VR headsets too. But the MG20, even with the smaller ear pads, has a better seal, has memory foam cushions, angled drivers inside, and this is what I currently use for my daily VR Beat Saber sessions. Both headsets have easy to use controls with hard stop volume wheel on the BW02 and a mic mute button above the non-removable microphone. The volume control is not digital, so you will have to set it to 100% in Windows and adjust on the headset accordingly. While the GM20 powers on with the Bluetooth button, there's a multi-function button below the digital volume control, and it even has microphone level control that is rare to find, and surround sound activation for those who need that extra audio room and expansion, and does a pretty decent job. Now, the cool thing about the MG20 is the inclusion of dual microphones. Right now, you listen to the standard boom that you can mute and lights up in red to let you know when it's muted. Plus, having that microphone gain wheel is pretty handy, but there's no
audible feedback on when you're reaching the highest gain or the lowest gain. So you have to be looking in the software to see your gain levels. So that kind of defeats the purpose of this microphone volume gain wheel. But also, it doesn't sound like anything impressive, especially for the price point. However, removing this boom mic means you can still have comms. There's a second microphone built into the headset, so if you're walking around this using this as a headphone, you can still use it for comms purposes, but this is what it sounds like without the main microphone. Now, the microphone on the cheap pair is actually quite good in terms of sensitivity and vocal clarity. It's not total trash like I was expecting for this price point, because this is basically like a $20 headset that is made to be wireless, so that's why there's that price premium. But in terms of microphone quality, I would say it's totally decent for this price point. It's loud and clear. But between these two headsets, which one sounded best to your ears? Let me know in the comments.
Now, sound quality between the two, obviously the MG20 has much better layering, deeper bass, cleaner treble, while the BW2 is surprisingly average for the price point. So in Escape from Tarkov, the BW2 is insanely boomy. Like stepping on wood drowns out all other game sounds around you. The bass region is boosted, of course, but not in the deep sense. But overall, is actually not a bad profile for Escape from Tarkov in particular, because the game design, sound design is so crunchy, and the softer treble on this headset is comfortable on the ears. But without the incredible layering you get with the MG20 headset, and without the controlled bass like a more expensive pair again. The MG20 driver-wise is clearly far superior, which I'm thankful for. So when you get into games like God of War, the bass-heavy speech and all the destruction is felt to be very powerful, while the BW2 can still deliver a surprisingly decent experience without distortion and pretty high volumes too. And to be honest, all the convenience around this wireless performance and lightweight bodies outweigh all the weaknesses in sound quality for this cheap pair, in my opinion. So for CSGO, both sound perfectly fine, but given the much better seal on the MG20, you are much more focused on the gameplay, and it doesn't feel like there's any compromise in sound quality with the Master and Dynamic. So it's a solid 9 out of 10, while the BW2 in comparison is kind of like a 3 out of 10. However, part of wanting wireless performance is also wanting comfort and convenience. And this is where we get into some of the issues. So on the MG20, there's no easy way to switch between wireless devices. It prioritizes Bluetooth connection over the 2.4 GHz dongle, while on a cheaper pair, you can switch between Bluetooth and the dongle with a triple press of the power button. Now that's smart. One time I booted with the MG20 and there was so much latency, it was unusable until I had to restart the headset. Battery life on this thing is terrible. Come on, the sleep timer on this thing is enabled by default at 10 minutes, but the advertised 22-hour battery life in my experience is more like 10. Range is good for about 6 meters, but as soon as there's any signal loss, it's painful to hear. Instead of cutting out like a normal headset would, it tries to brute force all that sound, which sounds horrible.
Polling rate above 1000 hertz. So Razer was the first on the scene with 8K hertz polling rate, granting them the status of...
While the range on the cheaper headset is much better, surprisingly, but this thing also has a few issues. There is noticeable noise when the headset has no audio coming through. The microphone arm is a joke. I mean, it's very flimsy and I don't have any confidence in this lasting for a while. The ear cup renders online are different versus what you get in the mail. And battery life on my unit has been absolutely solid. I used it for 4 days without needing to recharge, and it's rated for about 40 plus hours, but there's no way to check the battery status. It takes about 4 hours to completely recharge the headset, which is kind of slow. I must say, I'm pretty impressed at how the MG20 is packaged as a full deal, but man, it falls really short in the gaming space, not only because of the price, that's the whole other category, but because of the mediocre microphone, really unintuitive ways to switch between Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz wireless, terrible battery life, and below average wireless range, which is how the Benoon cheaper pair rises to the top because the basics of convenience are properly covered. So we have good battery life, range is fine, microphone is loud, and easy switching between wireless modes. But, of course there's a but. Audio is boomy and lacks resolution. The build quality, man, that's questionable. but it really works well to highlight the drawbacks on a product that costs 10 times more. And on that note, spend responsibly, my friends. I will list some of my favorite wireless headsets down below for a little more variety, so make sure to check it out. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video.